What's going on, YouTube? In this video we are making farro and sweet potato with chermoula. Hold on, am I saying that right?
Chermoula.
Cool. Chermoula. Farro and sweet potato hash with chermoula. So I'm in the process of losing weight, and around the time of filming this I was close to 200 pounds, about to drop below. So on average I'm trying to eat really healthy. Well, no, I'm just trying to eat healthy. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of struggle with eating like the super healthy foods such as like grain bowls and salads, especially salads, because I'm usually hungry an hour after finishing it. I remember when I was trying to do the sweet green diet. I don't know if that's a thing, but it was just so easy to get sweet green. I mean, apart from the fact that I was just burning through cash on salads, I would order two for like lunch and dinner, but I would end up finishing both like an hour after each other, like during lunch. So that kind of lasted 2 weeks. So that left me with trying to make a healthy grain bowl. Now there are just so many grain and seeds like that you can fill one of these bowls with. I'm talking farro, freekeh, quinoa, bulgur, oatmeal, wild rice, brown rice, couscous, amaranth, and lentils. And there's probably more. I haven't had freekeh or amaranth before, but between the other ones, if I ever have an option, I generally just lean towards brown rice. But I just wanted to try something new. And then I found farro. It's got more protein and fiber than brown rice, and it's got things like vitamins, like B3, you know, so we need B3, and like magnesium and zinc, because you know we gotta have our magnesium and zinc, and iron. If you're a fan of brown rice bowls, I highly recommend trying out this dish. It was pretty straightforward to make, and it turned out great. So why this dish stood out to me compared to any other farro dish is because of the chermoula. I've been wanting to work with different combinations of herbs to see what goes well together and what works with certain dishes. Chermoula is a North African marinade or relish, and it's traditionally used to marinate seafood, but it can also be used as a topping, and that's what we're using it for. 3 herbs in chermoula are parsley, mint, and cilantro. Now only except when it's on tacos, and only a little bit. I can't stand cilantro. But spoiler alert, after adding the mint really mellowed out the cilantro and really was kind of what brought together all 3 of these herbs. It wasn't great, but it was somewhat bearable to eat cilantro. This was a recipe that I did stream on Twitch. I stream every Wednesday to Saturday in the evenings, and I did do a Twitch exclusive, which was chile rellenos stuffed with black beans, and it was delicious. The link to my Twitch will be in the description below. If you don't think you're gonna like the chermoula, I left a timestamp so you can skip ahead to when I start making the sweet potato hash. If you skip ahead, just make sure to put on a pot of boiling water and preheat your oven to 375. But let's get started. Depending on how hungry you are, this recipe should be for about 2 to 3 people. If it's just dinner for one tonight, this will still be good after you refrigerate it. I tried a new camera angle for this video, so let me know what you think in the comments below. First, preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Then fill a pot with water and add some salt, like when you're making pasta, and you want to bring that up to a boil. We start by making the spice mix. If you're fancy and got yourself some whole spices, you can toast them in a pan over medium heat until you can smell them, and then grind them up in a blender or mortar and pestle. I only have the powdered version, so the recommended substitution is for every teaspoon, use 3/4 of a teaspoon instead. So I add 3/4 of a teaspoon of coriander powder and 3/4 of a teaspoon of cumin powder. I like black pepper, so instead of only adding 3/4 of a teaspoon, I went with the full 1 teaspoon of freshly cracked black pepper. To add a little bit of heat, I decided to add 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. In the blender, we first add roughly 2 cups of cilantro and parsley with their stems. Add 1 cup of mint leaves, lightly packed into your measuring cup. Add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice and 1/4 cup of water and blend. We want to blend till we form a coarse puree. So to me this meant that everything was mostly blended together, but you could still make out some stems and leaves. If you need to add more water, add 1 tablespoon. Put the puree in a bowl and add 2 teaspoons of lemon zest. If you don't have a zester, but you do have a peeler, you can do this to zest your lemon. Take your peeler and peel thin pieces of the rind off the lemon. Then take your knife and mince the rind that you peeled. Add 1 teaspoon of red chili flakes and the spice blend and give it a taste. Honestly, I wasn't really a fan, but I realized I forgot to add the extra virgin olive oil. After adding 1/4 cup, it all came together. The oil didn't add much flavor, but it heightened all the lesser detect flavors from the spices and also mellowed out the strong flavors, like that dang cilantro. After looking into it a little bit, I found out that spices like cumin and coriander are actually fat soluble, so when you add a little bit of oil, it helps bring out their flavors. If you still think the chermoula is a little off, what might do the trick is adding a little bit more lemon juice. After finally mixing everything together, you can set the bowl aside because it's hash making time. If the water's boiling, add 3/4 of a cup of farro. You want to cook the farro for about 30 minutes. Just a quick side note, I was able to find farro in the rice section of my grocery store, but if your grocery store doesn't have farro, you can use brown rice instead. I also left a link in the description below. While the farro is cooking, we can start on the veggies. First, scrub down 2 sweet potatoes. Now, I didn't realize that this meant to actually scrub down the sweet potatoes under cold water. I thought it was just some chef term for like grating a sweet potato. Also, I didn't know this until recently, but you want to keep the sweet potato skins because they're very nutritious. After scrubbing the sweet potatoes, cut them into 1/2 inch cubes and set them aside in a bowl or on a plate. Chop 1 sweet onion into small square pieces and place the pieces in another bowl. To that bowl, add 1 tablespoon of fresh or dry thyme, whatever you have, and set that bowl aside, and prep 1 cup of Brussels sprouts. To prep the Brussels sprouts, first wash them under cold water. Remove the outer leaves and cut the base off. Then finally cut the Brussels sprout in half. Then mince 3 cloves of garlic. Alright, let's get to cooking. Put the sweet potato cubes on a sheet tray and coat them with 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil and some salt and pepper, and place the tray in the oven. We want to roast the sweet potatoes for about 13 to 17 minutes, and about halfway we want to take them out and give them a quick shuffle with the hope that most of the cubes end up flipping and roasting on another side. Bacon! While the sweet potatoes are in the oven roasting and the farro is cooking, fill a cold pan with as many slices of bacon that can evenly fit. I was able to fit 4 and put the pan on medium heat. Bacon isn't necessary for this dish, but it's bacon. If you don't want to add bacon, you can skip ahead to when I add the onions. Sizzle break! Around this time, the sweet potatoes can be taken out of the oven and shuffled around a bit and then put back in for the rest of the time. After your bacon is at the crispiness level that you want it, set them aside on a paper towel on top of a plate. In the pan with your rendered out bacon fat or olive oil if you decided not to make bacon, add the onions and cook until softened, which should be about 6 to 8 minutes. If it's been about 30 minutes, check if the farro is al dente. For me, this means it's not crunchy and slightly chewy. If it needs more time, make sure to check it regularly so you don't overcook it. If the sweet potatoes are finished, you can bring them out of the oven. We want the sweet potatoes to be lightly brown and tender. Add the garlic and Brussels sprouts and shuffle everything in the pan. Cook everything in the pan until the Brussels sprouts are still green but forming these crispy brown spots. This should take about 5 minutes. Almost there. Add your farro and sweet potatoes to the pan and mix and heat everything together. Finally, let's make some eggs. Having an eggy flavor really complements this dish, so you can make your favorite style of eggs. I went with what the recipe called for, which was over easium. Mine were kind of over easy to over medium eggs because I really wanted that runny yolk. Even though I'm using nonstick, I still like to add a little bit of oil to make sure that I can move the egg around when it comes time to flip. After cracking the egg into the pan, I cooked it for about 2 minutes until the whites started to harden, and then I gave it a flip and then cooked it on this other side for about 40 seconds. So 2 more eggs need to be flipped, so it's time to introduce our first game show. Flip that egg. Alright, now for the first egg. And he adds a little bit of oil, you know, you want to grease the pan. Here's the first crack. Oh, and it's beautiful, no cracked yolk. Alright, now the video's sped up, so we're going for 2 minutes though on this one side. Alright, he's getting ready. He's getting ready for the flip. Here we go, here we go. Let's see it. Let's see it. And oh my god, just absolutely nailed that first flip. Here we go. Just let it cook on that side for a minute and put it to the side. Alright, time for the second one. Beautiful second crack, no cracked yolk. Here we go, letting it cook. Okay, he's been cooking eggs all his life, it seems. Sources say he burnt the shit out of the first egg he made for his mother. And here's the second flip. Anticipation's killing me. Oh my god, 3 for 3. Absolutely killed it today and flipped that egg. Alright, thanks for joining. We'll see you next time. Time is finally here. Time to plate. I plated this like a warm grain bowl. So I put our farro and sweet potato hash on the bottom, and then topped it with bacon and one of our beautiful over easy eggs. And then I topped this beautiful mess with some of our chermoula. The recipe didn't call for it, but I honestly, before I started making this, I realized that not onions, but tomatoes would be a really good garnish as well. But I'm a dummy and I'm a little lazy and I'm really hungry at this point, so I didn't cut it up. But as I was eating it, it felt like it was the one thing that was missing. But you know, let's dig in. All right, I want to start by saying that it was really hard for me to get past the cilantro and the chermoula, so I only ended up putting on a little and then mostly added hot sauce. But if you like cilantro, don't mind it. I can see why it goes well with this dish. It really went well with the sweet potatoes. Other than the chermoula, for me this dish was amazing. The farro and sweet potato hash was really good. Definitely even better with the hot sauce. The eggs, the over easy eggs and bacon were a great topping. And the tomato would have definitely been nice. The farro, oh my god, I love the chewiness of farro. It's so, I love it. I love the bite of farro. It's so good. But I think that's it. I definitely recommend this dish, and thanks for watching.